All eyes on me, it's go time. Lights on, it's showtime. I'm a go-getter, always grind. Headed for the top, it takes time. No handouts, I take mine. No handouts, I take mine.
No handouts, I take mine.
Maxed out, you gassed out. Working hard, see I'm all about it. Big weight, blood, sweat, tears. Dedication, got no fears. Got a lion heart with a loud roar.
Fabulous finish.
Leave you stunned. Crew chillin', no days off. See I'm casting checks, I'm a big boss. Hopped out, but got back in. I'ma start with you lacking.
Really
no
good
sleep,
save
it's
by
game
Miller.
time. I'ma send you back in. Grinding out 365. Working hard, no time to hide.
It all comes down to this.
Curtains out, it's showtime.
And he scores. San Jose awaits. Underdogs, yet undefeated thus far in the tournament. This evening, something has to give in the MLS is Back tournament quarter-final stage between Minnesota United and San Jose Earthquakes. Welcome into our studios here at Allianz Field. Callum Williams alongside Kyndra de St. Aubin as always. Kyndra, before we look into the quarter-final stage, let's go back to last week, shall we, where Minnesota United were able to get the better of Columbus Crew.
Yeah, and I think, again, it was just a gritty win by Minnesota United. They came in with a fantastic game plan, a tactical game plan that they executed. And Robin Lod gets off the schneid and gets a goal. A nice ball in by Jan Gregus, serves it in, the flick on. He gets the first effort, and the second effort, it comes back, it falls to his foot, and he finishes it. He buries it. You felt a sense of relief there. And then it goes to penalties, and Tyler Miller coming up big time. Massive situation there, and it had to be the stash. We heard all about the mustache this week. And Chase Gasper hasn't taken a penalty, and he can't remember when was the last time, but he raised his hand. He wanted to step to the spot. He had the confidence in it. And what a gritty grind-out win for Minnesota United in the end, knowing the conditions, knowing the heat, knowing this is week 4 or 5 of in the bubble of Orlando City. And I think that you could see from Minnesota United that they earned that victory late.
The prospects of this here, Kyndra, are fascinating. You mentioned earlier on Orlando City. The next opponents, should Minnesota beat San Jose here this evening, that would mean so much to several of the coaching staff members.
Absolutely, and Orlando flying high as well. I mean, I don't think anyone picked them to beat LAFC. I mean, you know, everybody's crowning these champions before the games even take place, just like Columbus Crew against Minnesota United. And time again, these teams are climbing in and proving that they can be the one, that they can find the victory. And I think Orlando City, if you watch that game, they had an impressive game plan as well. So everybody in this tournament is here to play. You cannot count anybody a champion, and you can't count anybody out yet. But yes, Adrian Heath, a little extra motivation. If he can get to that game against Orlando City, you betcha. But I guarantee he's not looking past San Jose.
No, not at all, knowing Adrian Heath like we do. Stay with us because there's plenty more coming your way here on the preview show for Minnesota United against San Jose Earthquakes. And next up, we'll hear from the head coach of the Loons, Adrian Heath.
From the man, catch them if you can! O'Para, forward now for Marino, who's in!
Minnesota United take on San Jose Earthquakes Saturday, August 1st at 7 p.m. in the MLS is Back tournament knockout stage.
Big game, Steve Pickles!
Tonight's preview show is brought to you by Allianz. Allina Health, official orthopedic partner of Minnesota United. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota, better together, you and blue. And M Health Fairview, please protect yourself and others by wearing a mask when in public spaces. We all have to do our part. Where's yours, Minnesota? And a very warm welcome back into our studios here at Allianz Field. Callum Williams alongside former Golfer soccer star Kyndra de St. Aubin. And Adrian Heath has been delighted with the depth that he's been able to put together in this roster over the course of the last few months. And now he gets the chance to really try it out, as he told Eric Durkee a few days ago.
Adrian, one of the things we talked about this year is the improved depth. You know, in the game against Columbus, Jacory Hayes made his debut. Marlon came in a tough spot. Schoenfeld made a penalty. Raheem made a penalty. Talk a little bit about that group and the mental acuity to come in there.
Well, one of the things we set out to do in the off-season was to go and get some people who played in the league. They know what the league's about. Experienced guys who we know that if we call upon them, they can come and play, and that was certainly evident the other night. You know, we didn't miss a beat when we come on. The issue I have is wondering who to put in when we have these moments, because we literally have 6 or 7 players who can play 3 or 4 positions, and we're very, very happy with the group, happy with the rest of the squad who've come in and contributed, not only when they come on the field, but every single day in training, pushing the guys who are in the starting 11 spots. So yeah, they've been enormous for us this year.
And looking ahead to San Jose, you know, I think it's a team that we've scored 11 goals against in the past 3 games against them. However, we haven't had the offensive firepower perhaps that we may have liked in this tournament.
Yep.
Do you see sort of one going one way or the other against this team that seems to be up and down quite a bit?
Well, it's a strange situation. They play differently than anybody else in the league. You know, they try and spread you out when they have the ball. They try and put you in uncomfortable spots when you've got the ball. But we've proved that we've got a little recipe, if you like, to actually make sure that we can exploit what they do. The problem is that if you don't, and they get a head of steam up and get some momentum, as they've proved in this tournament, they're difficult to stop. We can win this game. We know that. We've got more than enough to win the game. But we're going to have to play well, because they're full of confidence, full of conviction. They believe in what their coach tells them. They play to the game plan, whether they're winning, losing, or drawing. So it's going to be tough. You know, they've scored a lot of goals in this tournament. So we're going to have to play well. But I do know that we're more than capable of winning this game.
And talk about the center backs in a game like this, and sort of how important they are to sort of expressing that game plan.
Well, invariably they are your spare man. One of your centre backs is your spare man, and then after that they go and mark man for man. So we have to make sure that them 2 guys are fully aware of when the moment to break forward and try and use that extra body is. And we've done it really well against them in the past, and we'll need to do it well again on Saturday.
And last one is just a health update on Romain Metanire and Kevin Molino.
They're training. Maybe it's a bit early, maybe game day decision, but I think Kevin's probably a little bit closer than Romain. But we'll see. We'll give him every opportunity to be available.
Now, we'll get to the starting 11 here shortly, but Kyndra de St. Aubin, first of all, your thoughts on what the head coach, Adrian Heath, had to say?
Well, I think the quality of the depth of this squad is going to be a major factor going forward through the rest of this tournament and the remainder of the regular season for Minnesota United in MLS. I think we've already seen it to come to fruition throughout the early stages in the group stage. You got to rotate that group. You got to rotate the squad. And it may not mean change the starting 11, but it very well could mean bring your guys off the bench that you need to bring off in certain situations. And I think Adrian Heath has done that. I think he also understands the quality of the depth of his group and the importance of keeping certain aspects of it consistent. He's dealt with some injuries. Molino's been out for a couple matches now, but he's been able to slot other guys in. Really serviceable, I'm going to call them veterans, even though 24 years old, but a player like a Jacory Hayes and Marlon Hairston being able to step in, and the versatility of these players. You and I talked about it this week before we started our podcast. The ability to move players around, whether you have them starting at right back or center mid or right wing or wherever they need to go. The fact that you have several players that are Renaissance men, basically, and can play multiple positions in a quality situation at a quality level, that's a huge benefit to Adrian Heath and part of how they built out this roster. What it says to me about San Jose, he said this a couple times in interviews this week, conviction. Matias Almeida has conviction in his squad, in his roster. They know exactly what their style is. They know exactly what they want to do. Their offense is clicking now. They are another team that has gotten better and better every single match as the tournament has gone on. This is a tough one to predict tonight.
Well, Adrian Heath has indeed dipped into that depth here this evening. A first MLS start for Jacory Hayes in the centre of the park, meaning Hassani Dotson drops in at right back because of the injury to Romain Metanire. Kyndra de St. Aubin, your thoughts on this starting 11?
Well, first of all, I think Gregush and Alonso and Hayes are going to hold down the fort centrally. I think Gregush is going to push a little bit higher like we always see. Hassani Dotson at right back. Don't even bat an eye at that, because he is one of those players that you can move around. Of course, everyone would like to see Romain Metanire out there. We know how he has the ability to fly up and down and get up that right flank, and the partnership and the chemistry that he has developed with Ethan Finley that may be missing a little bit, because you just feel with Finley and Romain Metanire that they know where the other is going to be before the ball is even played. It's going to take a little time, but Gregush, Alonso, Hayes, doesn't bother me one bit that Hayes is going to step into that central midfield alongside those two. Robin Lod, I think he's starting to feel his game after getting that goal. It's a weight lifted off his shoulders. And the back line, Aha, Boxall, and Gasper have been fantastic, just so stern on that back line. And quite honestly, I think the best center back pairing in this tournament so far has been Boxall and Aha. They've really stepped up their game since that first match. Luis Amarilla, goal scorers want to score goals. He's working back into getting into form as well. And I think once he puts one of those in the back of the net, it's only going to be a matter of time. His confidence will be lifted, and he'll just be flying high and be able to combine with Lode and Finley.
Now, we have to stress this. This was the starting 11 from a San Jose Earthquakes point of view in their last game against Real Salt Lake. Kyndra, a game they won comfortably by 5-2. We'd be surprised if there were any major adjustments, wouldn't we?
Well, and they've hardly made any changes in their starting 11 the entire tournament. Matias Almeida has used his bench at length, has made those substitutions 60th, 65th, 70th minute, and pretty much used every option to put in Wondolowski or a Shea Salinas or others. But this is just about been his starting 11 every single match, and you got to watch Jackson Ewell in the midfield. He is the one who pulls the strings. What a fantastic young player, a Bloomington, Minnesota native, and it's just been a joy to watch him really develop and flourish under Matias Almeida. He struggled in the prior coaching regimes and changes, and as a lot of players have, because of so much turnover in San Jose, but he has thrived in that situation, gotten U.S. men's national team looks. He knows how to slow the game down. It's the pace of his passes, it's the weight of his passes, the pinging of the switching of the fields, the reading of the game. But where I think Minnesota could get San Jose is I think Judson gets pulled out of position. He is supposed to stay home and kind of be that holding midfielder, that force, kind of like an Ozzie Alonso. And there are times where Erickson, Ewell, and Judson all get caught up and out of position. That transition game for Minnesota, they can capitalize.
Can Minnesota United get the better of a continental-looking San Jose side? Stay with us. Still much more coming your way. Next up, we'll hear from the Loon centre forward, Aaron Schoenfeld.
Minnesota United take on San Jose Earthquakes Saturday, August 1st at 7 p.m. in the MLS is Back tournament knockout stage. Big games need big goals!
Tonight's preview show is brought to you by Allianz. Allina Health, official orthopedic partner of Minnesota United. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota, better together, you and blue. And M Health Fairview, please protect yourselves and others by wearing a mask in public spaces. We all have to do our part. Wear yours, Minnesota. And a very warm welcome back into the final segment of our pre-game show here from our Allianz Field studios. Callum Williams alongside Kyndra D. St. Aubin. Now, there's no doubt about it, since arriving from Israeli champions Maccabi Tel Aviv in the off-season, Aaron Schoenfeld has made an impact in only a way he could. He's very settled and looking forward to more football with Minnesota United, as he said to our very own Eric Durkee.
All right, Aaron, so talk a little bit about your journey in this tournament. You know, you had to come in as a sub in the first game. You started the second game, but have always sort of been ready and willing when called upon. Just talk about sort of your approach.
I think if you're coming off the bench, you have to try to provide some kind of spark, some kind of energy. Especially down here, you can see the games starting to change around 60, 65. Guys are sweating, getting tired, cramps are starting. So just try to take the role on just to make some impact, any kind.
And a team like San Jose, that's a team that plays a very unique style defensively with man marking. As a forward, how do you approach that, knowing that you're sort of man marked throughout games usually, but how do you build up?
I feel like, obviously if it's late in the game, if it's early, you'll get space somewhere. Pretty much you have one man to beat, and maybe you have 50 yards around you at some point. So just trying to, find spaces on the field to where you'll literally have 1v1 at any moment.
And something the fans have asked about quite a bit is the mustache.
Yeah.
And is that just out of sheer boredom in the bubble? What was sort of the inspiration?
Yeah. So figured, where else in my life am I gonna have 30 plus days to be around guys and to not really give what I look like? Who cares, So it looks like trash, but I'm rolling with it right now.
And was it a point of pride for you to see a fellow mustache warrior and Tyler Miller save that penalty?
Tyler Miller's my mustache bro right now. I'm trying to get a couple more guys on the train, but I don't know what their issue is. I don't know if they're trying to look good for their teammates or what's going on. So trying to recruit a couple more.
Intriguing stuff from the former Columbus Crew man. I'm sure we'll see him at some stage here this evening. But Kyndra, let me ask you this. From the front line, let's go to the back line, shall we? Hassani Dotson in at right back. We've seen it before for Minnesota United. How do we think he'll fare this evening?
I think he'll do great. I mean, he's going to have his hands full. I mean, we know the attacking prowess of the outside for San Jose as well. You've got Vako Kashishvili and also Nick Lima, who loves to get in on the attack on that left-hand side. So he'll have his hands full. But we also talk about the outside backs in this league. Everybody gets forward these days. Hassani Dotson stepped right in and played in that role last year plenty of times, and when Romain Métanire was away on international duty. So I don't think twice about it. He's got two solid center backs behind him. He's got a goalkeeper in Tyler Miller that can direct traffic.
Finally, he impressed when he came on as a sub, did Jacory Hayes against Columbus Crew in the last round. Big opportunity for him this evening. Yeah,
I think, you know what, Jacory's been chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. It was like that before this quarantine, before the whole break. I mean, we talked to Adrian Heath several times, and that's the good problem to have if you're a coach, that you have so much quality depth. You're trying to find a way to get these guys on the field, to keep them fresh and to get them minutes and keep them game fit. Jacory Hayes goes about his business every day at training. He works his tail off. He's a true professional, a consummate professional, a great teammate in the locker room, and just continues to show up every single day. So yes, a big chance for him to step up again, but this time in a starting role, make his mark on the beginning of the match and play alongside Jan Gregus and Hassani Dotson and really hold down the forward midfield. He's going to have his hands full as well. We talked about Eriksson, Jackson Ewell, and Judson. So again, a battle of the midfields.
Fascinating, Kyndra. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to the entirety of our production crew here at Allianz Field. Undefeated, but they are best identified as underdogs. The question is, who has the biggest bark here this evening in the quarterfinals of the MLS is Back tournament? 7 o'clock Central, ESPN, or join us 6:30 p.m. Central, Score North and Sirius XM.